What's going on, everybody? My name's Tim Williams. We're here to break down today's MLB DraftKings slate for March 10th. We got a 4-game slate, and boy, oh boy, do we have the beautiful baseball god shining down on us today. We got 3 staff aces going on. We got some sneak value going here. We got some random lineups going on. We'll talk a little bit about odds and trends and stacking options and stuff like that. And yeah, let's just dive right into it. So first game we have going on here, we have the Detroit Tigers going against the Philadelphia Phillies. And then we got the St. Louis Cardinals against the Nationals. And then you got Braves and Red Sox. And then you got Twins at the Rays. So let's just jump right in. Let's take a look at the pitching real quick. And I put out a video earlier this morning touching on some of the good hit pitching options for today's slate. Really highlighting the fact that there are 3 aces, and in DraftKings, strikeouts and pitching, really are your anchor. So I value pitching very, very highly. So you have Max Scherzer in there, 3-time Cy Young Award winner. You got Max Fried, who looks to be, the staff ace for the Braves. Huge year last year. Just really stepped it up. Jose Barrios, for the Twins. I love him, taking a look at his matchup, we'll look into the batting order, but he is, a favorable pitcher on this matchup. It's also exciting to see like guys like Spencer Howard in there who are trying to win a rotation spot. You have Matt Boyd who's trying to right the wrong. And then, you got young guys like Luis Patino who are just out there to show their stuff and just a young player, prospects. I mean, this is what makes spring training fun. So we'll look at that first lineup here, Tigers, Phillies. And what we see here is, not the most special of Tigers lineups. A lot of guys sitting. You have Grossman in there. You have prospect Riley Green there, Castro, Reyes. So you got some speedy guys. I'm favoring the Phillies to win it here. If you're, going in a GPP contest, those mass field contests, one of the ways maybe to separate yourself, knowing that people are going to take those high end aces, is picking a guy like Spencer Howard or Chase Anderson, who's also scheduled to pitch this game. Didn't have a great year last year. These guys are probably going to be lower owned. But that's a way to get a little bit different in GPPs. But if you're playing cash games, double ups, I'm definitely hesitant. There's no reason to play those guys. If you're playing 50-50s and double ups and stuff like that, you're best off taking those aces. You have 3 special pitchers pitching today. There's no reason not to take 2 out of 3 of them. But hitting wise for the Tigers, honestly, I don't really like anybody. But if you were to take a shot, like maybe a Robbie Grossman, but honestly, there's 8 teams playing today. The Tigers aren't really somebody I'm taking a look at. You're better off looking elsewhere. And then with the Phillies, who do have a lot of their starters in their lineup, and going against Boyd, who had a pretty good first outing, but I'll take my chances with guys like McCutchen. Segura's in there, Harper, if you're playing cash games, that's a safe bet. Didi looks pretty nice hitting in the 4 spot. A guy like maybe in GPP plays would be Roman Quinn, who, you can sneak in there. It'll probably be a low owned play for sure. In cash games, I wouldn't, but, he seems to be like a decent option. And we'll just move on to the next game. We don't have the full batting orders here for the Cardinals, but that's okay. You have Jack Flaherty, who got a little bit roughed up in his first outing, going against Max Scherzer, who also didn't have a spectacular outing himself, but Scherzer can get strikeouts. And depending on who is going to be batting for the Cardinals, they might just go young. This could be, easy cake for Scherzer here. You have Stevenson hitting leadoff, who had a big game yesterday. And then you have Turner, who I like there. And then Starlin Castro, Schwarber has got home run potential for sure. Josh Harrison's having a decent spring. Other than that, there's not much else I like. Moving on from that game. And then you have Atlanta and Boston. And I was kind of surprised. So I do look at the like Vegas odds and stuff because that helps me kind of prepare, who to choose from. Say I'm stuck between a team or two or a player or two. Well, if Vegas is predicting that this team is likely to be the winner usually scores more runs. So I'm going to lean that way. So as of right now, Boston is actually favorited in this game. It's surprising, right? Because you have Max Fried in there, but Max Fried's only going to pitch 1 or 2 innings, and it is his debut as well. And then you look at the batting order, and you're like, oh, I kind of understand why. So the Braves are kind of sitting a lot of their starters. So you got top prospect Christian Pache. You got Johan in there. Kipnis is hitting third. Sandoval. Just kind of a B squad here. No offense to anybody. And then Contreras might be a decent catcher play, but going against Matt Andriese, but who has a chance to actually get into this rotation. I like him better as a bullpen guy, but he's only going to pitch like 1 or 2 innings today. I like taking a shot at Kike Hernandez. Verdugo, he's a young hitter. I like him a lot. JD Martinez, Devers, Renfroe. So it's pretty obvious that overall in the big scheme of things, Fried can go out there and pitch a pretty good, 1-2 innings. But I think overall you might see some Red Sox runs. So that's something to keep an eye out there. And Christian Vasquez in there. We'll take a look at the end of all of our catcher options at once. And then lastly, we got the Twins and the Rays. I will say the Rays are favorited, even though, Barrios is pitching. The Rays strike out. The Rays led the league last year in strikeouts. I will say, Kiermaier has a pretty decent history against Barrios. So like, he's not a bad option. Also another way to get different because he's probably not going to be owned very, very much. But Zunino, he's boom or bust. He can strike out. Meadows, there's a lot of potential in this Rays lineup to hit. So those are good hitting options for you. Brousseau better against left-handed pitching. You got a righty on the mound, but he has power as well. But for the Twins as well, they're kind of sitting a lot of guys here, and you have Luis Arez, Ryan Jeffers, Miguel Sano, Willens. Not a bad catcher option. Also a third base. I probably wouldn't go third base there. Kyle Garlick, Rooker, both of these two guys look pretty decent this spring. But I think the runs are going to lean more so on the Rays side. But, Barrios has that ability to strike guys out. So it's kind of the risk reward. Barrios is going to be higher owned. He probably is the safer play on the slate. So I do like him here. So let's just throw him in there. And Patino, probably a GPP only guy. I wouldn't go with him for any cash or double up games. He's definitely a risky play. There's not a whole lot of sample size. He hasn't seen a lot of major league hitting. So risky play for sure. So if you're, feeling frisky, go for it, but I would stay away. Just generally. So we got a couple Phillies guys. Kiermaier's in there. But if I'm having Barrios, maybe that'd be negative correlating. So maybe I'll take Kiermaier out. And this is just an example. Like, do not copy this. Do not copy lineups from the internet. Like, use your head a little bit. Let's say Schwarber looks pretty decent. He's got home run potential, right? Third base. I know I preach stacking, but we'll just take a look at our best options here. Bobby Dahlbeck. I'm not quite sure if he's good against lefties here. So, why don't you go with like the safer bet, right? Like a Devers or if Arenado's starting, maybe go be contrarian and go against Scherzer here. But let's just put in Devers, right? Like we got Kike in there. First base wise, like you take a look and it's like you got a lot of veterans in here. I don't know if Goldschmidt will play today. If he is in there, it's an option, but albeit risky, with Max Scherzer, but he'll probably see Max Scherzer at least once. Matt Carpenter has a decent sample size against Scherzer, but I'm really leaning towards Scherzer to have a bigger game. But maybe like Sano, right? Patino's in there. And Sano's kind of a boomer bust player too. Like he relies on his home runs. But maybe, the baseball gods are in his favor today, right? Who knows? And then catching wise, it's not very pretty. But Mejia, who does know Patino pretty well, so those guys work together decently. But maybe you like Christian Vasquez, who knows, right? Like stack your guys. I'm not saying like go out and do this particular lineup. Do a little bit of research, but I hope these kind of this idea helps you out a little bit. Um, I will say like in GPPs, take some risk, but you don't have to go all out. Like pick some safe bets, especially in, if you're doing cash games, pick the safer options. The salaries are all the same. So there's no, salary crunch or like, I can't fit this guy in here. I can't fit this guy there. But, in those cash games, you're only trying to beat the halfway mark, as opposed to those tournament style games or, you're trying to leverage yourself over your other opponents. So really like these lineups, it depends on what games you play. So just keep that in mind. If you're doing something for a 50-50 game, it might not be wise to use that same lineup in a GPP game, or if you're building a lineup for a GPP, a mass entry type of contest, might not be wise to use that for a 50-50 contest. You know what I mean? So it depends on what kind of style of game you're going to play today. But I'll leave you with this, that, the Phillies are favorited here. The Nationals are favorited here. The Red Sox are favorited here, and the Rays are favorited here. Just based on, what the information we have now. I hope this helped you. Again, my name is Tim Williams. You can find me on Twitter, Tim Williams DFS. Let's chat. Let's hang out. Let's talk baseball. Like this video if this helped you. Subscribe. I'm going to be posting content, all season long. Spring training's been fun. It's been kind of a wild ride. We win some, you lose some. It's all about the probabilities and just putting your best foot forward. So I appreciate you watching this video. Thank you again. And good luck on today's slate. If you are indeed playing. If you're just watching, enjoy it.